get sick, they give you some water, they prepare some food, hoping that after a few days you get well. But my mom did not get well after a few days. She just it went on for like a month, and she was sick, like super sick, and then we decided, we was like, let us take her to the hospital and see maybe the problem might be bigger than just water.
Stuck. I couldn't move. And I heard somebody say, Charity, your hair is on fire. But it wasn't registered. And then the second time, Charity, your hair is on fire. Then the moment hit me. I could feel the heat. My head is in flames. I took off running, and I run to the kitchen. I put my head in the sink. And they cut the water on and, got the fire out. You could smell the smoke. It stunk so bad. And they called my mother, who is a beautician. And
not been for the Lord on my side, tell me where would I be? Where would I be? I'm not going to give the whole song because we only have 5 minutes, but I'm thankful and grateful for an opportunity to come before you, let you know I serve a mighty good God. I serve a mighty good God because He chose me. He chose me to come before you today. It's a miracle because Cha-Cha knows that sometimes I don't want to come before you, but if you come to the Lord, He will equip you. He'll allow you to speak boldly before Him because we serve a mighty good God. But what I want to share with you, I said I wasn't going to tell nobody, but I can't keep it to myself, Sister Leslie. But I want to share with you how God's been in my life. We was on our way to Cleveland, Ohio many years ago, my family and I. We experienced some difficulties when we got there. They were on it. I was kind of, apprehensive about it, but God sent them on. And it's just a blessing to know that God is always on our side. Take your burdens to the Lord and leave them there, because when you're having troubles, God will take care of it. All you have to do is just ask. And right today, my sister that was in that head-on collision, she don't know what happened, and it's been over about.
A year after graduating high school, I ended up getting caught and going to a penitentiary. So I spent a little bit of time there. Unfortunately, it didn't reform me at that time, so I got out, tried to think smarter, and went out there and did the same thing. A year later, got caught again. And so I went back. At the time of my life, I knew there was something greater for me to be doing in my life, but I didn't know. So I remember when I was sitting in my cell, waiting to get sent away to the prison, I'm thinking, what am I doing here? What am I doing? But I didn't know what to do with my life. I didn't know what to do. But eventually I had to do the time. I got out, slowed down a little bit, but I kind of started hanging out again, picked up some more habits, and then, like they say, once you quit, you go back to it, it gets worse, 7 times worse. So it began to get worse. Started drinking heavily, started hanging out a lot, fighting, and then I was just pretty much headed down self-destruction. I started doing armed robberies and home invasions and just making foolish decisions. Then one night, I went home, went to sleep, like everything was cool, like I hadn't been doing nothing, and I had this dream.
When the topic of miracle comes up, oftentimes we think about our own miracles. And that's natural, that's what we do. But the Word of God tells us that we should rejoice with those that rejoice and weep with those that weep. So in this season of my life, God is having me, He's allowing me to see the miracles in my family's life, my friends, and my church family. I think about the miracles in the lives of them. And what we done with it. We're going to do whatever the doctor said. No, they said not so. The second miracle is about a mother and her daughter. And now these are true accounts. This is not made.
Only me to go back to not just verse 11,
But look at verse 12, where it says that then you will pray, and I will listen. So God in His mercy has shown me a miracle too. My life is a miracle. When He was saying this is going to be in a book, I think my life is going to be a movie. We talk about it with my husband. I said, when people watch that movie, they will cry. And they will see God work. When He says He takes the foolish things of this life to shame the wise. I will have much time. I don't have time to share more. But just to point us to one big miracle God has given us as a family is the birth of our last baby. How can I share the journey of 9 months in 5 minutes? It's just too much. And even the pregnancy that came with a lot of issues, God stepped in. Truly God stepped in, because from conception to delivery, it was just something else. Every visit to the hospital has a story. I know there was a time the doctors had to sit with me to kind of consult me because they were suspecting cancer. But after the test and everything, they said there was no cancer. There was fluid.
Because Jesus was calling them out, and I was just wondering, you are invited in a house for a meal, and then you're bold enough to call your host out.
Well, yeah.
So then verse 54 of chapter 11.